Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the 11th Hour. I am AJ Gells, and you're watching this right here on the 11th Hour Gaming channel. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. This is my weekly news wrap-up show. Granted, this week's a little weird because I'm wrapping up the past 2 weeks of news. Last week, kind of in lieu of this episode, I did kind of, like a New Year's special, it was kind of wrapping up 2015, and now, obviously we're in our first week of 2016. Really, this is the first episode of the new year. This is gonna be a lot of fun, kind of this journey, kind of along with you guys. I'll be playing a lot of games this year, and like I said, I'll be posting the show up, every week, just like I was, in this past year. And please always remember that this show goes live every Friday at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, or at least I try to get it up at that time. But either way, guys, without further news, let's hop right into the news. As usual, I always start with what's going on in kind of like the gaming, the tech world. There's a good amount that we're seeing this year. I'm kind of saving the big part kind of for the end. But it looks like if you're looking for an Xbox One Elite controller, those nice slick looking dudes, the supplies will be limited until March of this year, 2016, and this is all due to such a high demand for these controllers. I mean, hell, I'm looking for one. I think they're $150. I mean, they're fairly pricey, but they're good. They're good controllers, from what I've been hearing. And continuing with Xbox, apparently 2 new Xbox One bundles have been announced. One is a 1 terabyte Xbox One with Rainbow Six Siege and digital versions of both Rainbow Six Vegas 1 and 2. And this entire price will run you $400. I think here, this next one, actually, I didn't get a price on this one. I think it was $350 for this one, but this is it's called the Name Your Game bundle. Basically, it will come with a 500 gigabyte Xbox One and a digital copy of one of these, I think, 4 games of your choice. So, you get a digital copy of one of these 4 games, being Forza Motorsport 6, Rise of the Tomb Raider, Gears of War Ultimate Edition, or Rare Replay. And I at least know that this bundle is coming to North America sometime in late January. See here. Moving on to Sony sales. Sorry, overskimmed. According to Sony, more than 5.7 million PS4s were sold through the 2015 holiday season. This is bringing overall total of PS4 sales to 35.9 million, and that is 35.9 million units as of January 3rd, 2016. This thing, I'm questioning on when the hell this system's going to stop selling, because I think, Xbox is going to have to do something. They're going to have multiple years. I mean, last year was a good year for Xbox. I'm not going to lie. They had some good sales, but still, PS4, I think is going to be the dominant force until the next console generation. We'll see what Xbox and Microsoft does next gen. But either way, what is considered the future of gaming, and is this whole VR kind of buzz. There was a lot of that in the news this past week, all because the Oculus Rift, pre-orders actually went live. Was it the 7th today? Yeah, okay. So I believe it went live yesterday on January 6th. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, you view any episode, I think for the past while I've talked about how I don't like the fad that is this VR gaming. I was reading an article that was saying that, it's not the virtual that will make you sick. It's like the frame rates are good. There's no technical problems with the VR system. It's the reality that'll make you sick. It's like, I think you're just playing Adrift. It was like a game where you're like an astronaut floating in space, and it's like the tumbling and the lurching that'll make you feel like you're gonna throw up. And I'm like, why would I play that? That makes no sense. I get motion sickness easily. I don't know about you guys, so I'm like, this does not seem like a good thing. I don't know, does it work well with my glasses, or do I have to wear them off? And if I don't wear my glasses, I can't see. So I have a big issue with that. I see one of 2 things happening with VR, and that's either it's not going to sell, it's just not flat out not going to do that well, or 2, it's going to be a lot like it's going to sell, and then it's going to do a lot with what tech, like with the Wii or the Vita, or hell, I mean, I see it happening with the PS4 too. It's it's like the Wii, it was super popular when it came out. People were buying them left and right. Nothing came out for the Wii. I mean, yeah, there was some good stuff. No More Heroes is a fantastic game, but all the stuff with the waggle technology was never really fully used. We didn't do a lot with it. Placed, with the PS Vita, it was the whole the touchpads, the front and back touch. Really, not a lot of games use it, or to its full, abilities. Hell, even the touchpad on the PlayStation 4 controller, you just don't see it used a lot. It's more used as a button. It's I don't know. It's a big question of mine of what's going to happen with VR. But apparently, according to Oculus, that pre-orders will not sell out. And basically, that is if the sales outnumber, the amount of stock that they have. People who buy theirs later, like later sales you'll get yours and they'll just ship later on a later date. Along with this, the price point for the Oculus Rift has been announced, and which I will say, you ask me, this is going to be what kills it. $600. $600 for it's not even with a con or anything. I think with a PC that can run Oculus, it's about $1,400. I mean, that is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I'm buying a 500 some, like a gaming PC. I'm buying one, and I'm getting it for like $500-$600. I mean, I'm getting it for about the same price as just this tech. I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, this price point, it really is. I don't see how this is going to continue, or it's shocking. Either way, I'm sorry. I'm gonna keep trying to stick to the news, and I'll put more opinion at the end. But apparently, shipments of the Oculus Rift will begin March 28th. This was going off a little bit in the news also this week. Oculus Touch, like the motion controller for the Oculus Rift, will not ship with the Rift. Touch will actually release in the second half of 2016. So you can buy them separately. So yeah, more purchases. Oculus CEO Palmer Luckey, I believe is Luckey. I don't fully know how to pronounce that. He took to Twitter to say, and I quote, "To reiterate, we are not making money on Rift hardware. High-end VR is expensive, but Rift is obscenely cheap for what it is." See, I understand, you can choose to read into this however you want, I mean, you can read into it, say, okay, we're getting a deal, and yeah, for what it is, they're not making money. First off, from a business standpoint of Oculus, why the hell are you doing this then? Why are you selling this you're trying to make it come off like $600 to some obscenely cheap? That's more than I paid for my Xbox and my PS4. Why the hell would I drop $600 on this? I mean, and I'm not even sold on the idea of VR itself. I'm not even sold on PSVR, which is about $100 to $200 cheaper. I don't understand this. And also saying that this is obscenely cheap for what it is. That's like the whole thing where everybody's saying, oh, video game prices are technically, with inflation and everything, they're cheaper than they've ever been because, back in the day it was like 80, which is blah, blah, blah. It's... You're making comparisons to make things sound better than they are, but it's $600. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna move on. I'm gonna get off the negative. I'm sorry. I don't like VR. I don't like the idea. I think it is a flash in the pan idea that's going nowhere. Either way, moving on. Out of tech news, EA and DICE have no plans at the moment to add Episode 7 DLC to Star Wars Battlefront. This is from the at EA Star Wars Twitter page. Our team is focusing on the original trilogy for this release of Star Wars Battlefront. Quick note, this does not include the Battle of Jakku DLC that is coming to Star Wars Battlefront. DLC, the Battle of Jakku DLC, was released in December. And technically, that actually took place, like in the Star Wars mythos, that takes place 29 years before the actual start of Episode 7. I am a nerd. Either way, Mass Effect Andromeda director Chris Wine is leaving BioWare. On December 22nd, 2015, he tweeted out, "It is with a heavy heart that I am moving on from BioWare and Mass Effect Andromeda and return to the USA." BioWare is currently saying that development of Mass Effect Andromeda is still on track. I believe that's supposed to release this holiday season. Really looking forward to it. It looks more exploratory than the past couple episodes. I'm really excited to see what's going to come out of that. Really, yeah, I really like BioWare. I'm just gonna say it. Either way, moving on. The group behind XCOM Enemy Unknown's, the famous mod, The Long War for, like I said, XCOM Enemy Unknown. They have formed a new studio. I'm sorry, I'm very stumbly over my words today. They've formed a new studio named, and I will say, very originally named, Long War Studios. They are currently working on a and I quote, grand strategy game called Terra Invicta, where the player defends Earth from an alien invasion. It sounds a lot like XCOM. Either way, currently this is in, and I quote, pre-Kickstarter development. I don't know. It's an interesting game. I'll take more games like XCOM, and that idea. XCOM 2. I mean, granted, this isn't. These guys aren't XCOM, but still, if you haven't seen it, XCOM 2, I believe February 5th is the release date. Looks really cool. Graphics look just a beautiful looking game. Really good, neat idea compared to the last one. Like I was watching something today on how the strategy of this game is a little different. It's more, I think like inside this video, it was, I think what I saw was by Dan Stapleton, over at IGN. It was like, as opposed to kind of like a race, where it's like, in the last game, it's like, countries that were, taken over by the aliens, you couldn't, take them back, from them. But in this one, it gets taken by an alien, or by the aliens, you can take them back, and, it's basically you're trying to defeat them before they fill up the victory bar at the top of the screen. So, it's kind of like it's more like a push and pull kind of, war, as opposed to we're just trying to race to see who can beat the other fastest. Super interested to see what's going to happen. Actually check my channel for my Let's Play of XCOM 2 right on February 5th, or the day it comes out. I plan on playing it and get a video up for you guys. Super excited about that game. Operation Black Ice DLC for Rainbow Six Siege has been delayed until February 2016 for Season Pass holders. I can't speak. Rainbow Six Siege, obviously being the multiplayer only shooter by Ubisoft. I've been hearing good things about it. I don't know, still not my cup of tea. Let's see here. Halo 5, Forza 6, Gears of War Ultimate Edition, and Rise of the Tomb Raider have each sold over 1 million copies apiece. That is very good for Microsoft and Xbox. But all these being Microsoft exclusive or Xbox exclusives. I don't know. I'm really kind of stoked for those games, especially Rise of the Tomb Raider. Which, people keep saying like, in a weird way, I'd give that one a score better than I gave Fallout 4. And actually, by the way, check out my Fallout 4 review on my website down in the description below. But I think I gave Fallout 4 an 8. I would give, I'm blanking here. I'd give Rise of the Tomb Raider straight up 9, if maybe a 10. I mean, the game worked. A fantastic story. The second half was a little weak and a little predictable, but that's most games. Rise of the Tomb Raider, I can't say enough good things about. And again, check my channel for my Rise of the Tomb Raider Let's Play that I'm still currently working on. Sorry. And speaking of Rise of the Tomb Raider, actually, Rise of the Tomb Raider will be coming to PC in January 28th. So, if you don't have an Xbox One but have a PC that's you're playing games on, there you go. Super cool game. This today seemed like yesterday, whatever, seemed like the days to, we're just gonna announce all of these. We're gonna leak release dates or whatever. Like it was happening for everything. Either way, but it looks like Mafia 3 had its release date possibly leaked by GameStop. The release date being April 26th. And 2K gave a statement to IGN, and the full statement reads, Mafia 3 will release in calendar 2016 during Take-Two Interactive's fiscal year 2017. More official release... I might have had a typo there, sorry. Either way, the official release date has been announced at this time. It is common practice for retailers to list placeholder dates before an official release date has been announced due to the requirements of their operating systems. Basically, that means 2K is not confirming that April 26th is the official release date. They're implying that that is a GameStop kind of placeholder. Although at this time we do not, although it could be, we do know that the game is planning on for 2016 release. The whole fiscal year thing is a little weird, but fiscal years don't make sense to me. But so we know the game's coming out in 2016. I'm still putting my money on it's going to be in the first half. And April 26th doesn't. It seems like a weird choice, especially with Uncharted and Quantum Break. Coming out, but I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised to see Mafia 3 in the early half of 2016. I'm really looking at that game. It's really interesting. Homefront: The Revolution. Again, also might have had its release date this time by Target, May 17th. And again, there was IGN reached out for a statement, I believe from Deep Silver, and there's been nothing, no confirmation, no denial, no nothing. About that. That's another really interesting game. If anybody remembers the previous Homefront game, it was an invasion of China on the U.S. It was kind of like Red Dawn, the game. At least that's how I've perceived it. This one more like it's an open world kind of Far Cry-ish kind of game. I think it's been described as urban Far Cry. Looks really interesting. I think I saw it last year at Gamescom. I think it was either Gamescom. I think it was Gamescom. Yeah. Gamescom. Jeez, and I think kind of the final kind of release date leak, this one by Amazon's French website, Doom, it could be releasing on June 30th. And once again, there's no confirmation, no anything specific given on that. ReCore, Keiji Inafune's new game. That is a really fun name to say, Keiji Inafune. This is the guy behind the main artist, and I believe the main director behind the Mega Man series. I believe is also a producer on Lost Planet, Dead Rising. There's another one that I forget that is just rattling around up there in that rat maze that is my brain. Either way, ReCore has officially been delayed into, and I quote, later this year, with no specific release date kind of confirmed. This game looks really interesting, kind of a Metroidvania-esque kind of game, with a lot of there's some stuff with robots, and it looks interesting. I'm definitely gonna give that a shot. You'll definitely see it on my channel. And the game is also going to be released on Windows 10 along with Xbox One. Final Fantasy 15 is definitely coming in 2016. This is as confirmed by game director Hajime Tabata. And this is a report from GameStop. I didn't see this report anywhere else, so I just did want that kind of stated. But Tabata also said in an interview with the Examiner that storytelling inspiration is basically coming from The Last of Us, which is Naughty Dog's big game a couple years ago. Really good if you haven't played it. Let's see here. And I quote, and this is directly from the interview, and I quote, where the gameplay and storytelling are really one and the same, end quote, new quote, it's important that the story progresses through the gameplay in a very unforced way, in a similar way that it was done with The Last of Us. So that's not the story is influenced by The Last of Us. It is more of the kind of idea that gameplay drives storytelling and storytelling drives gameplay, kind of the push and pull of game design. So I'll be really interested to see what this upcoming Final Fantasy is. I don't think I've really played a Final Fantasy that I've really liked since 10. I didn't mind 12. I'm on the minority there. So either way. But in an interview with Famitsu, speaking of Final Fantasy, Hironobu Sakaguchi, I believe is how it's pronounced. Sorry, I'm not great with Japanese names. Hironobu Sakaguchi, the Final Fantasy creator, is apparently working on a brand new title. Too bad no specifics were given. We have, I don't know what it is, what it's named. It was just kind of hinted at in this interview, but it'll be interesting to see what's coming up with that. That guy obviously created a very popular franchise that's existed to this day, and spanned, I think, 4 generations of consoles. I think the first one was on PlayStation, but I could be wrong. I don't know. Either way, Obsidian Entertainment and Paradox Interactive have announced Pillars of Eternity's second expansion, The White March, Part 2, will be coming to you on February 16th of 2016. Continuing, geez, there's just a lot of release dates this past while. EA Sports UFC 2 will be releasing on March 15th. I don't know. I'll give the game a shot. Not super excited about it. The last one, not that great if you ask me. I really liked. Was it Activision? Might not have been Activision. I'm trying to remember exactly who did the UFC Undisputed games. Those were pretty spot on. Really fun. God, this is gonna bug the hell out of me. I don't think it was Activision, and it is THQ. I believe it's, at least I think it was THQ. Either way, those were some really good UFC games. Then EA Sports finally, did their EA Sports mixed MMA, which was not that good. Looked fine, just didn't play that great. And then last year's EA Sports UFC 2 or UFC came out, and it wasn't that good in my opinion. I don't know. But if you're interested, March 15th, coming out. A Boy and His Blob is apparently coming to PS4 and Xbox One on January 19th. Go check that out. I believe that was a Wii title? Might have been DS. Either way, I've heard good things about that. A lot of people super excited about that. So January 19th for A Boy and His Blob on PS4 and Xbox One. This has been kind of in the news a little bit. Activision Blizzard has purchased Major League Gaming, like the MLG, the esports league, whatever. But according to CEO Bobby Kotick, Activision Blizzard is planning to create, and I quote, the ESPN of esports, which is kind of interesting. I like this. I like this idea. Maybe make it easier to follow for guys like me who aren't super into esports. I respect it a lot. I think that gets kind of misconstrued when I say I'm not into esports. People think that I don't respect it. I respect that those people are much better at gaming than I am. I'm more of a I'm a single player guy. I say I'm a hardcore gamer. I play a lot of single player games and a lot of that. I'm a very casual multiplayer. Sorry, nose itch. I'm a very casual multiplayer player, but I'm very hardcore into. So either way, this sounds like a good thing for people like me who aren't super into esports. I'd like to follow them though, that kind of thing. Disney Infinity is apparently now the most popular Toys to Life series, which no, I'm sorry, that's nothing against Disney Infinity or to those who play it. I don't understand Toys to Life. I've never understood Toys to Life, probably won't ever. Either way, this is apparently all thanks to Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. Apparently, Infinity Star Wars games and toys earned over $200 million in sales this fall. Also selling well, the PC and Mac versions of Minecraft have officially passed 22 million copies. And just quick to note, this is just the PC and Mac versions, not everything. I think overall, the total amount of sales for Minecraft would just be ridiculously big. Let's see here. Hideo Kojima has apparently been inducted as the 21st member of the, I have to read this or I'm going to get it wrong, Academy of Interactive Arts and Sciences Hall of Fame. Once more, congratulations to Hideo Kojima. Jesus Christ. I'm a super big fan of Metal Gear Solid 5, and which you can also check out right here on this channel, my Let's Play series. Now, I'm sorry, I'm plugging my channel. I'm just trying to get more, you know what I mean. Either way, Valve is apparently taking measures to ban players involved in match fixing in Counter-Strike Global Offensive. This is kind of, as they put it, this is to protect the integrity of competition within Counter-Strike Go. Valve has outlined the bans and the reasoning on the Counter-Strike Global Offensive website. I believe this is due to a competition that people saw. We were scoring. Again, I don't follow esports. I'm not 100% sure on why this happened or exactly what match fixing is, but there you go. If you're interested, go check out Valve's website for the full details. See here, early next week, the Nintendo Network will be undergoing maintenance. This will begin January 11th at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, and will go to the following day, January 12th at 3 a.m. Pacific, 6 a.m. Eastern. There's currently no reason given for why the network is undergoing maintenance. Wes Copeland is once again the Donkey Kong arcade world champion with a score of 1,190,000 points. This is after a small back and forth exchange between him and the previous record holder, Robert Lakeman, in September of 2015. I believe that was Copeland beat Lakeman, who I think beat the former record holder. I'm sorry, I don't have the name written down, and I'm not going to attempt it to not offend anybody. Either way, Copeland beat Lakeman in September, and then Lakeman, I believe 6 hours later, reclaimed the record. So now Copeland once again holds the record of Donkey Kong. It's fancy. It looks like Psychonauts 2 has reached its crowdfunding goal of $3.3 million as of yesterday. That's January 6th, because I record this on Thursday. Super interesting to hear about that. I've heard so much great things about the original Psychonauts. I got to go back and play it. Good for them. I believe that was done through Fig, one of the new crowdfunding sources. I believe that's actually like investing. Like, you actually get rewards back for investing, and it's interesting idea. Here's an interesting game. I saw this on IGN first. It was played by IGN editor Ryan McCaffrey with the former BioShock lead designer Bill Gardner. Sorry. The game is Perception. Which is a first-person narrative horror game. That's not necessarily a new idea. Here's where it gets interesting. In Perception, you play as a blind girl named Cassie, who's navigates through echolocation. So basically, it's like you tap the stick, and it's like sound waves forms an image. It looks kind of like Daredevil, I guess is how I'd explain it. Really interesting idea. Really cool. Go check that on IGN first for full details. I think it's about a 5-10 minute video. Really interesting. We'll look more into that game when it comes out. Now into the final story, and this is kind of the big last. This is kind of the last thing. The final story. This is something I love talking about. If everybody knows, I'm a big AC guy. If you viewed any of my channel, big thing. And obviously, we're at the beginning of 2016, so you know what that means. Here comes Kotaku, and we now have a leak of what Assassin's Creed, or what Ubisoft is planning to do with the new Assassin's Creed game. Apparently, and this is again according to a leak from Ubisoft via Kotaku, there is no plan to release the next Assassin's Creed game in 2016. The next Assassin's Creed game, codenamed Empire, will be releasing in 2017. This is through IGN. Ubisoft did release a statement basically saying that, again, it was one of those generic statements basically saying it's not confirmed. I think they talked a little bit about the movie in it too. It's basically they aren't confirming or denying the statement. All we know is that there's, who knows. Either way, Apparently, this game, also digging through some articles and whatnot, a lot of people are looking into this. Apparently, Assassin's Creed Empire will feature a brand new protagonist. Obviously, will consider I can't speak. I'm sorry. Will be set in ancient Egypt. So this is kind of like even before Altair. So we might see the kind of like the formation of the Brotherhood. Some interesting stuff. Like that. My big problem with it is how are they going to handle verticality in this game? Seeing that ancient Egypt, I mean, other than the pyramids, I don't see like super tall structures, but who knows? I mean, I don't know a lot about their their architecture and whatnot. Although I will say, everybody who says, "Oh, you can climb pyramids," those things are like almost like completely smooth. I don't get how we're climbing pyramid. Either way, who knows? Again, they might take some liberties and whatnot with this. This still seems like an interesting idea. I still want feudal Japan. Just saying. But either way, this game's set in ancient Egypt. Apparently, the reason that they're taking the year off, Empire, will feature mechanical and graphical overhauls, which is almost kind of interesting that we're already going for a mechanical overhaul. Yet we kind of had that in the traversal system between Assassin's Creed 4 and Assassin's Creed Unity. And also, again, it's not surprising that we won't be seeing one this year, especially after... I hate to say Syndicate didn't do well. It didn't do well retail-wise. The game itself was fantastic if you haven't gone out and tried it. Fantastic game. Unity, not so much. Which is kind of, I think they kind of took a shot to the chin on that one. And then Syndicate just didn't sell. Still a fantastic game if you haven't gone out and tried it. Still very good. But apparently Empire... and this is all rumored, that it is going to be the start of a new trilogy. I don't know. I don't think trilogies work with this game. I think by the third one, Ezio it didn't interest me. I liked him the best in Brotherhood. Not gonna lie. I think 2 games for one character is plenty. But apparently, this is going to be a trilogy. The character will be a former slave. And will be apparently a more stoic kind of character, more kind of back to what Altair was, as opposed to kind of the outgoing, kind of like Jacob and Evie were. Yeah, I don't know. I've gotten so used to kind of these outgoing, like flashy characters. I don't know. Only time will tell. Who knows? Maybe this guy will grow on you. Maybe who the hell knows? Either way. But this kind of this kind of begs the question: what's going to fill AC's spot this fall? And apparently, also again, this is all rumors, but Watch Dogs 2 may be filling the Assassin's Creed kind of like time slot. Obviously, Watch Dogs 2 is the sequel to Ubisoft, I believe, 2014 release Watch Dogs. Really interesting game if you didn't play it. I don't know. I think there was stuff there. It just didn't really play on. Rumored Watch Dogs 2 to be located inside San Francisco. Again, only time will tell. And also rumors saying that Ubisoft will be showing off Watch Dogs 2 at E3 this year. And like I said, everybody, that's about it for this week's news. Thank you so much for watching, tuning in, all that. Please stay tuned for more throughout this year. There's tons of stuff, Let's Plays, reviews, all of that throughout 2016. You can keep up to date with all of that right here on the 11th Hour Gaming channel. You can keep coming back every Friday at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, right here for this show every week. Everybody, thank you so much for watching, and always remember that the 11th Hour Gaming channel is your one-stop shop to everything video game related. News, reviews, Let's Plays, all of that right here, one convenient place. And please remember, if you ever need to get a hold of me for whatever reason, be it to give me some sort of critique on what you're liking, not liking, please, if you're going to tell me what you're not liking, tell me how to fix it, and I will fix it. That way you keep coming back for more. You can always get a hold of me through Facebook, Twitter, my website, all down in the description below, or just hit me up right in the comments. I'll be happy to answer questions, anything like that you guys post to me. And if you are enjoying this, please don't be shy. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook, stay up to date on everything that's happening right here on this channel, everybody. That'll do it for episode 14 of the 11th Hour. I am AJ Gels, and you're watching this right here on the 11th Hour Gaming channel. Guys, I'm out. Have a nice week.